Tonight, the Historical Science Channel presents a special documentary about a lost chapter in human history. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, when our prehistoric ancestors populated the earth, the first semblances of society as we know it were taking place. Small groups of men and women began to form, and they gathered food, made fire, and protected each other from invaders. These common causes led to the development of stationary communities. But there was another community, if you want to call it that would have none of that rubbish. These adventurous souls would never stay in one place for more than a few days. Their instinct for wanderlust unabated, they meandered from region to region, never putting down roots or becoming a respectable part of ancient society. These were the Neanderthals.
The Neanderthals is brought to you in part by Flint Water Beer, also by CCW Labs, makers of fine pharmaceuticals.
There are times in your life when a normal beer just won't do. You want a beer with body. You want a beer with volume. You want a beer with a unique flavor all its own. That's when it's time to crack open an ice-cold bottle of Flint Water. Flint Water Lager is made with the finest municipal water Michigan has to offer. Brewed with the best grains you could purchase in bulk from the outlet store and aged in casks made from abandoned pallets from our world-famous shuttered car factories. One sip of Flint Water and you'll know it's the best beer you'll ever taste. It may also be the last beer you'll ever taste, and in that case, why not go out with the very best? Flint Water Beer, the brew for you. Flint Water Brewing Company, Flint, Michigan. Don't drink responsibly, drink Flint Water.
And now, back to the Neanderthals.
It is believed that the Neanderthal tribe got its start in the region now known as Chillicothe, Illinois. Then, as now, nobody outside the area had heard of it, and there was nothing to do there. This undoubtedly helped to start their ongoing lust for a change of scenery. Professor Henrik von McDougall Rodriguez of the University of East Pahrump, a leading expert on the tribe, expands on that theory.
In order to understand the mindset of the Neanderthals and to properly locate its region of origin, one merely has to visit Chillicothe. I mean, my God, you've never seen such a bland place in your entire life. The people are boring, the houses are boring, there's no cultural centers or nightlife to speak of. Hell, there's probably not even more than one convenience store there. Well, what the hell are you supposed to do for fulfillment and fun at a place like that? Stare at the walls?
And so the trek began. First heading northwest into what is now Iowa, finding it just as bland there, then south into what is now Missouri. At this time, the tribe began to expand rapidly, as the adult members of the tribe found the only way they could alleviate their boredom, albeit temporarily. In time, they numbered in the thousands, but this was not to last. Professor von McDougall Rodriguez elaborates.
You would think that a tribe which had grown to that number would have had the sense to finally settle somewhere and thrive, but there is something you'd be overlooking. The members of this tribe were constantly on the move without any real sense of direction in either a literal or figurative sense. So there was no time used or effort made to get themselves or their offspring educated. Thus, they found themselves freezing to death in the winter, scalding in the summer, and constantly devoured by wild animals, 100% of whom were smarter than they were. To put it in modern parlance, they were dumber than a wet bag of rocks, a few bricks shy of a load, a few fries short of a Happy Meal. You get the idea. Just plain stupid.
We will be right back after this word from CCW Labs.
Are you trapped in a bad relationship because you don't want to rock the boat? Are you timid about approaching your boss about that promotion even though you know you would be perfect for the position? Are your children running the house because you are reluctant to discipline them and come across as a big fat meanie? Then you need Grow-A-Set. Grow-A-Set is the all-natural supplement that stimulates the mental processes and hormones that inspire you to take action and reassert your self-worth. One daily dose of Grow-A-Set with lunch and dinner is all you need to go from wallflower to manpower, from wimpy to worthy, from mess to success. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Grow-A-Set today.
Use as directed for oral use only. Excessive use or overdose of Growasset may cause dizziness, nausea, and an uncontrollable urge to go to monster truck rallies. Keep out of reach of children. Epstein didn't kill himself, neither did Harvey Weinstein or Tulsi Gabbard. If you experience diarrhea or vomiting, stop eating crappy fast food. The makers of Growasset are not responsible for adverse reactions of people who are using you as a welcome mat. Don't forget to floss. For more information, visit IDon'tWannaBeAWimpyLittleWinnieAnymore.com.
And now, back to the Neanderthals.
Although the Neanderthals have been extinct for millennia, many vestiges of their history remain with us to this very day. Dr. Von McDougall Rodriguez explains this phenomenon.
Because of their constant aimless wandering, the Neanderthals came into frequent contact with more traditional tribes. Now, despite the efforts of the normal tribes to resist, they soon found certain behaviors of the Neanderthals assimilated into their world. It lasts to this very day. Whenever you see someone wander into oncoming traffic while their eyes are riveted on their smartphone screen, shuffling around Walmart for hours and then not taking the extra 10 seconds to return their shopping carts, or simply voting for career politicians over and over again, who then screw them out of their rights over and over again, you can be assured that there is a trace of Neanderthal living on.
We hope you enjoyed tonight's show. The Neanderthals was produced by the Historical Science Channel in association with Seven Farts Television. Stay tuned to counterculturewise.com for more exciting and informative entertainment.
Ladies, gentlemen, and anything else you might identify as, the President of the United States.
I can sum up my career in 2 words. I'm Joe Biden. If there's one thing I know about America, it's Nothin. Growing up as a Catholic attending a Jewish synagogue, I learned a lot about being poor. When I was getting arrested again after marching with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in my all-black Delaware neighborhood, completely filled with Puerto Ricans, I remember seeing 2 men kiss. I must have been 14 years old at the time, and I knew then and there exactly how I felt about my leg hairs, kids on my lap, and my grandfather telling me not to keep it but spread it. I told this story to the dead Amtrak conductor every day when I boarded for my trip to my job as a truck driver while I was vice president. He once told me that they calculated that I trained more miles than I planned on Air Force Two, even with all those trips to China with Hunter. If it weren't for the fire department across the street, I would have already died of the stroke and cancer that I still have. Come on, man. When I was forcibly pinning a bronze silver star on a veteran who didn't want it in Iraqistan for rappelling down a burning building with his father, I realized I knew quite a bit about roaches, having had a house burned down with my wife in it. If you don't believe me, you ain't black, and me and Corn Pop will take you behind the gym and beat the hell out of you with rusty razors. I'm not joking. When I was walking for as a security lifeguard, I graduated 76th out of 85 at the top of my class, getting 3 degrees on a full partial scholarship. My wife drank a trucker's lunch to a stop sign just before my son Bo died of cancer while serving in Vietnam. No lie, when I hit that 368-foot home run off the wall in center field while stuck in traffic, that was the only thing my kids could remember. It's all I can remember, too. This is the God's truth. My word is a Biden.
Welcome to Counterculture Wise, a Stormcap production. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts, our guests, and the dog, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any of our platforms, our advertisers, or any other dog.
As you listen today, please remember, we are so much more than a podcast. All of our stories we discuss are linked in our show notes on counterculturewise.com. Visit there for commentary, guest photos and links, animations, and fun merchandise.
If you have a story idea or would like to be a guest on our show, contact us via our website, You can also follow us on Twitter, Gab, Instagram, Facebook, and all over social media, where we'll post memes, cat pics, and commentary that gets us booted off on a regular basis.
If you're listening live, be sure to join our chat on Spreaker. If you're listening dead, please stop voting Democrat, but enjoy the show anyway. And howdy, y'all.
I'm from the great state of Texas.
Well, we officially made Jim a Texan this week, and he'll want to talk a little bit about that, like official and like card carrying and all that good stuff. Welcome to another fabulous, extremely hot Sunday here in the Counterculture Wise studio. You may hear some growling and purring and squeaking because this place is absolutely chock full of nutty animals. I am your hostess with the mostest, Ms. Melanie Hope, and here with me in studio, besides other crews, is my best friend, happens to be my co-host, even married the poor sap.
Oh, well.
He's also my sweet baboo, actor, photographer, writer, and bass player, Texan extraordinaire, Mr. James Moniz.
I don't even know how to live up to that introduction, honestly. Exactly. I have no idea. I'm a bass student. I should probably say that. I'm about a year away from playing it in public, and
Dad joke?
I didn't have one. Let me...
Joke.
I don't have a dad
I'm so
joke.
sad there's no joke.
Yeah. Just as you were saying it, like, oh no, dad joke. I didn't get a dad joke. Crap. Oh, dad joke, dad joke. Hold on. Before I find the dad joke, drop everything. Take it, Melanie.
Drop everything and hit like, share, subscribe. If you're listening to us live, head on over into chat on Spreaker, and you can actually say howdy doody to us and other people. If you're on locals, hi, welcome. We're just trying to get this puppy built. We've just started this thing, so hopefully we'll see you there. If you're listening after the fact on the Apples or the whatevers and the Spotify Who's-Its and all those things, thank you so much for listening. Give us a 1,000,000-star review. If you like what we do, head on over to counterculturewise.com. Buy our crap. Send us a tip. If you hate us, head on over to counterculturewise.com and fill out the ID10T form, and we will give your complaint the attention it deserves. We want to make everybody here happy. All right. Was that enough napping?
Yeah.
I can drop some more stuff.
Rest in peace, boiling water. You will be missed.
Took me a second.
It's supposed to. I should have made the hand gesture of mist going up
Okay,
into
but see, technically mist is not steam. One could, I guess, put it in the category of precipitation. But
Okay, all right.
I know.
The wedding was so beautiful, even the cake was in tears. The waiter asked me if I wanted a box for my leftovers, but I told him I'm not into fighting. Are we good now?
As good as we're gonna get.
Yay!
As good as we're gonna get.
So welcome once again to a beautiful show. We are going to be talking about cocaine sharks. We're going to be talking about cocaine in other places. We're going to be talking about exploding cider bottles.
We got it all.
We got everything tonight here, folks.
We got it all.
We've got
except for air conditioning. That
Air
is one
conditioning
thing
we
we
do
do
not
not have. So if you
Tonight
hear
we
a thump
premiere-
and there's dead air, we literally passed out.
tonight
from the
we
heat.
premiere Bluster Peace Theater, and we've got all kinds of things. And Chuck will be here, and we have
Well,
so much.
Chuck's
creme
always
to-
here.
Yeah. Chuck, that's true. Chuck is always here. That's the
Poor Chuck.
Chuck, please. Oh.
Okay, that was almost worth another wat.
Yeah, I don't
Chuck,
feel like
please.
it. Anyway,
Urgh.
I mentioned cocaine sharks, but this is coincidental, or maybe not. It's
Yeah,
Shark Week.
Happy Shark Week! Woohoo!
We love
I believe they
sharks.
are going to be sharing this story on Shark Week.
It wouldn't surprise me much. We'll get into that in a little bit here.
Well, I'm going to let you kind of take the I'm in the wrong place. The Tony Bennett thing, because I honestly, he's way before my time. Way before my time.
Okay,
So I'm gonna let
let's be really
you do the
clear
Tony Bennett thing.
about this. He started his career in the mid '50s. It was before my time, so that's no excuse. Anyhow, I'm not going to quibble with my beautiful bride this evening, for we are one team. We're a team of nut jobs. Here we go. As most of you probably know by now, are one of the greatest entertainers, one of the greatest singers in history, is now no longer with us. Tony Bennett was born in 1926. He started his career in 1949. He has had, oh gosh, he was worth $200 million when he died. He had a lot. I'm going to try and get more of the numbers here. But he won 20 Grammy Awards, a Lifetime Achievement Award, and 2 Primetime Emmy Awards. He was named an NEA Jazz Master and Kennedy Center honoree. He founded the Frank Sinatra School of the Arts in Astoria, Queens, New York. He has sold more than 50 million records worldwide. So he began singing at an early age. He was a veteran of World War II. He signed with Columbia Records in 1951. Keep in mind that the last album he did was on Columbia Records in 2021. So he's with that label most of his life. He did go off to another one because they tried in the late 60s and early 70s to have him go contemporary, even though he was a master of the art form of the American songbook.
Is that when he did Metallica?
They probably would have made him do that if he were. So he left that label, was with Verve for an album, and then started his own label. He fell out of favor. He became a drug addict.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he went into some hard times, and then his son Danny, who was a musician but apparently not a good one, decided to instead manage his dad's career, brought him back to CBS Records.
Never do nepotism.
This time it worked.
Oh.
This time it worked big time.
Always do nepotism.
There you go. Yeah, this time it worked. He signed up with Columbia Records again, put out an album back in the 80s. I remember it's called The Art of Excellence. It was a million seller. It went really, really well. And ever since then, up until a couple of years ago, he was very active in the music business, toured, made millions of dollars, sold millions of records. His last album was a duet album with Lady Gaga. He did two.
Okay, that's brilliant.
He did 2 albums with Lady Gaga, and they both sold really well.
Talented. Her politics are out of whack. But
I
she's
don't know politics. He was kind of left, liberal too, but it's fine. I don't really care about that.
You know how the dumb rich people are.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna keep going. He was a very good singer, and I enjoyed watching him. You know why?
Why?
Because every time he came out on stage, the band would strike up the tune. He'd get up on stage. He just had the most beatific smile. It was like it's where he belonged, and he knew it, and he mastered the art form.
Kind of like a guest we've had on our show a couple times, Tony.
Tony Arias
gets on stage. His smile lights up the universe.
Yeah, he's one of my
really,
favorite,
really
not just one of my favorite entertainers, but one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
Just a genuinely good guy.
But
You're hanging up the flamingos again?
I'm trying. I love my flamingos.
We-
I can't help it if
we
you keep
have
smacking
this
them down.
backdrop with-
Jim hates my flamingos.
I don't hate your flamingos.
Hashtag save the flamingos.
I love flamingos. We hung out
Except for these flamingos.
It's a long story, but anyway, yeah, he He had a near-fatal cocaine overdose in 1979, and he asked his sons to help him out, and so his son took over, and it really helped. So he went on. Oh gosh, he did like 50 albums. I mean, he was very active for a long time. So we.
So did he just die of old age?
No, he had something. Hold on a minute.
He had something.
Well, I mean, I wasn't ready to answer the question, so that's my
You're the
place.
expert.
Well,
I always give you the geezer topics.
Oh wow. All right, that's just fine with me, woman. Alzheimer's.
So while he's looking that up,
Alzheimer's. I just said it.
there's a study
Alzheimer's.
that shows that you will suffer less dementia if you get properly working hearing aids. To which Jim says,
What?
yeah.
I already have enough stuff going on me. I've taken enough pills for 5 addicts, and just I'm done. All right, I'll do it. I mean, I already have a CPAP machine.
It was fun watching Jim all hosed up last night with his glasses on, reading a book.
I look like
a cyborg.
I look like a cyborg.
Yeah, so all you need is a couple of hearing aids and maybe a brace or two, and I think we're there. Maybe a toupee, just to go all the way.
I don't like you right now. I really don't. I love you. I love you to death.
Oh yeah, sometimes I hate you, but always I love you.
So anyway, that's Tony Bennett. We love you and thank you for the decades. He was active for over 60 years, so thank you so much
What would you say
for.
was your favorite?
I like stepping out with my baby.
Wow, he really goes way back.
Yeah, he did a lot of Cole Porter and a lot of.
I lost my pillow and I'm sad now.
Well, folks, that's the update.
That's
She's lost
it.
her
We're
pillow.
all done. End of
Show's
show.
over.
Good night, everybody.
Come back next week. Keep you in suspense.
Do.
Do.
Seriously though, where'd my pillow go?
Counterculture Cats is a Storm Culture production.
Oh, jeez. Remove the Y's, and I think we're there.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So tell me what's going on with DoorDash.
Well, I first heard about this from our friend Julia, who's been on our show.
Do keep in mind,
Yes.
DoorDash does deliver cannabis. So keep
Well,
that
they
in mind as you
where
tell
it's
this sto-
legal.
Well, I'm just saying, keep that in mind as you're telling this story because I'm thinking I'm seeing a
I
correlation
see what
here.
where you might be going with this.
Yeah.
This comes from our friend Julia, who has been a guest on our show and listens in once in a
Couple of
while.
times, yeah. If you're
We love you,
listening,
kid.
Julia.
Yeah. Quality karaoke. If you're in the Seattle area,
Yes.
contact them. But I had turned around and looked it up on Reddit and a couple of other places, and yeah, this is happening. DoorDash is no longer refunding people for missing food. So you order, let's say you order 10 pieces of chicken from KFC, and you get 9 of them. You call DoorDash and they'll say, "Oh, that's a pity. What a pity. Quite a pity. Bye."
You got 9, you only ordered.
You ordered 10 and you get 9. Well, okay. Tough beans, I guess.
So it seems to me like they're punishing the customer for not vetting their drivers.
I think sometimes it's the drivers and sometimes it's the restaurant itself.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes they'll leave things in the oven, forget it's there, and send them off without food. But there should still be recourse.
But, yeah,
I
there should
realize
be,
there's
there should
people.
be a partnership.
Yeah, I realize that there may be some unscrupulous drivers. At the same time, there's also some unscrupulous callers.
We talked about our experiences with trying to get our wine delivered. I'm sure
Yeah,
there's
well,
lots of UPS.
but that was UPS. That's not
Yeah.
DoorDash. It's a different. They might as well
I'm
be a
just
division
saying,
of.
if you live in a state like Nevada or Washington, where you are delivering, a large pizza with extra anchovies and a bag of pot, there might be a little bit of a risk there of either one of those actually making it to the.
I guess there were a few
home.
too many people who tried to fake out the system and just call them and say we're missing food and
Okay,
just getting
I'm
automatic
sure that does
refunds.
happen. I'm absolutely certain that happens.
In fact, I mean, we didn't do it like falsely. There was a time we didn't get all of our food, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, but we called the restaurant first.
Yeah, which is what you would do if you really wanted
And
to get the problem solved.
they actually checked the order
Mm-hmm.
and admitted that they had not included something that was extra in the order. So I would not have faulted the driver for that.
Right.
But I don't think a lot of people think things through that far.
Right. So anyway, we're not using DoorDash anymore. We just drag our tired butts over to the restaurant and
Well,
get it ourselves.
I don't think DoorDash comes out here. You can step over the bison and around the longhorns and crawl through the mosquitoes.
Well, if we can do
and
it, they can do it.
over the goat's head thistles, which I really freaking hate. Why are those things in the yard? Between the fire ants and the thistles, I actually
You actually have to wear shoes.
had to wear flip-flops to get the mail yesterday.
It was traumatic.
I'm still reeling. Yeah, I ended up in the middle of a field, barefooted with. I mean, we had to use pliers to get those puppies out. I mean,
It was bad.
Yikes. So Texas can suck my bare feet, my bare toes.
Hey, you chose this.
No, that was totally your idea. It took me 4 years to convince you, but it's totally your idea.
Yeah. Anyway.
Actually, it took me almost 10 years.
Anyway,
to
I
convince
did
you.
become an official Texan.
He did. So
because-
tell them how you became a yeehaw.
Well, we
official
were
Texan.
driving around. We were on our way to some other errand, and we were driving by a Western wear store that was going out of business. And I said, "Hey, didn't you want some sandals or some moccasins? She wanted
I
moccasins.
was looking for just plain leather-soled moccasins, not the big, fat, thicky ones that you can't feel any.
So
I hate those.
So we went in, and
But they didn't sell moccasins.
they were out of almost everything, but they did still have a decent selection of Western shirts and an okay selection of cowboy boots. And I thought, well, I've wanted cowboy boots for a while. I haven't had a pair in decades, and it's like, well, okay, let's just go have a look.
The
Well,
chances of them having his size are slim to.
Yeah,
Triply
they're not good.
Yeah.
But not only did I find a pair that fit, but they were a design that I'd seen a while back and thought, those are really nice. I'd like to have boots like that. So
And I zoomed in on them too. When the guy brought them out, I'm like, those are perfect. I love them. If they fit and they're comfy.
yeah. Not
Yeah.
only were they good looking, they're blue leather and brown leather, but they were also, they're a major brand, Laredo. Best part, roughly half price, because this company was going out of business. The man who owned it, or I guess he still technically owns it, but he's retiring, so he's closing down the store. So we got to meet him, nice fella, and I walked out with 170 pair.
170 pairs of shoes.
No, $170 pair of shoes for like $80.
Yeah, almost like
So,
less than half price. And
yeah, it was nice. And I wore them to church today, and nobody noticed because we came in late, like we always do.
We weren't that late.
Late is late.
So he comes out wearing all black with brown cowboy boots and a brown cowboy hat. I said, no, honey, if you're going to go all black, you got to go all black. Besides, at the church we go to, it's either cowboy hats, flip-flops, and Hawaiian shirts, or baseball caps, cowboy boots, and Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like-
to say we're casual is a bit of an understatement. Basically, we don't have a lot of the foo-foo stuff that a lot of other churches have. We have
well, we have lots of kids and lots
There
of
are lots of kids
lots
and
of
lots
members,
of
so we
families,
have
lots of
something
members.
a lot of other churches don't.
But it's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
There's music, there's the sermon,
And there was
there's the go home.
music,
and today we had a potluck
they
with
call it a
brisket,
flatbed feast.
flatbed feast with brisket.
Lots of beans and brisket and all kinds of desserts and
yeah,
macaroni salad and tater
my
salad.
poor diabetic self had to
Yeah.
just had to indulge a little.
And I'm silly. I made whole wheat macaroni salad with Kalamata olives.
What is this whole wheat?
I made healthy stuff, and everybody was like, "What's that?" A bunch of rednecks.
Yeah,
are afraid of...
you don't bring
Some
arugula
of
and
them even
sun-dried
said
tomato, whole wheat,
It was Kalamata
quinoa
olives with
crap.
some-
No, they don't
quinoa.
want that.
Well, there was one kid there who liked it. She doubled up and took some home. So
But she's intelligent.
she's intelligent and beautiful.
Yeah, she's a lovely lady.
Yeah.
Really great.
Young and just out of high school. Pick any college she wants to go to.
Yeah. So yeah, we had fun today. But yeah, I got those, and the American flag that hangs outside our house officially got torn up, so I took it down, and I'm going to replace it with a Texas flag. It's symbolic. I don't want to get too much into it.
When we get our own place, our real, actually staying there for a while place, I think we're going to get a Texas flag, an American flag, and a
Gadsden
flag.
Yeah.
We'll fly them.
No step on snack.
No step on snack.
I actually might want to get that one.
You like that one better?
No step on snack.
No step on snack.
All right. Well, we've been yammering long enough.
Holy moly,
about
it's already 8:30. We haven't even gotten started yet. Well, let's head on into...
Counterculture Wise is proud to present News of the Weird and Wonderful. Here are your hosts, Melanie Hope and Jim Monis.
So 3 years later, and finally people are getting on board with, I don't know, not being spasmodic chicken littles. California fast food institution In-N-Out Burger announced that it will soon ban employees from wearing masks in 5 of the 7 states in which it operates restaurants, according to a leaked memo. Apparently, if we leak memos, we never find out who they came from and who snorted the coke, so I guess that's a thing now. The exceptions, workers in California, of course, and Oregon, of course, will still be able to mask if they choose to protect themselves from you-know-what and other illnesses. According to the memo, employees will no longer be allowed to wear face coverings. Isn't it funny how they went from you must to being, no, you can't now, because customers sincerely despise it. They'll no longer be allowed to wear face coverings come August 14 unless they have a medical note. The company did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Talk to the burger. The policy was implemented to, quote, help to promote clear and effective communication between employees and customers.
I mean, it's hard enough to hear with some of these machines.
Yeah. We are introducing new mask guidelines that emphasize the importance of customer service and the ability to show our associates smiles and other facial features while considering the health and well-being of all individuals, the memo said.
It takes me back to that time we were at the Sunrise Coffee and we're driving through. This was during the height of the COVID panic. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the woman served us the coffee and the dog was, she was going nuts because she really likes the baristas because they give her puppuccinos, pup cups. And she said she took off her mask and
smiled at the dog.
Smiled at the dog, and I got to tell you, it was the most beautiful thing I'd seen in forever. I mean, it's just like...
It's like the heavens opened up and,
it's just
sunshine went through her face.
Yeah, it's like that's what we're supposed to be like.
I really, really missed human contact, and it's so lovely now because we got the back row crew at our church that are all the old geezers that sit in the rocking chairs, and I am not making it up. We literally have a back row of older, mostly gentlemen that sit in rocking chairs, and it's really awesome. And when we do the whole, how you doing handshake thing, I just go down the row, and the church that we used to go to, it's like, oh, we can tap elbows or point fingers at each other or whatever. Here, they're just big old bear hugs, smiling from ear to ear. I got lipstick on the collar of one of them.
We have several Vietnam veterans and that kind of thing,
But they're all huggy and they're all just friendly and lovely. And even though
we definitely found our home.
Definitely, yeah. Because I'm telling you, I missed that.
It was just kind of an accident.
I missed hugging. It was. It's just like, hey, maybe we should try that church at the end of our driveway.
Right.
All right. Yeah. So. Yeah, I missed that, and I've always been a hugger. I mean, you can go all the way back to grade school when I was in the youth club at the church I grew up in, and I used to get at the end of the year where they'd give you all the little fake awards and whatnot. Best smile, best hair. I was always the best hugger of the year.
I believe it.
Yeah,
you're the best hugger.
It's always been my thing. All right, so it's nice to see that some companies are coming to their senses. It's a lot longer, but as y'all know who have listened to us before, we archive all of our links and pop them up on countercultureweather.com. So if ever you want to go back and revisit one of our stories or watch the video that's attached to it or see the pictures or all that good stuff, that eventually we will show when us old geezers learn how to work live streaming video. Let's just face it, I have a face for radio. We're just going to say that. Jim has a noggin for landing airplanes, and
watch out for the bump.
Put him in the lighthouse with the reflection. Just
I don't know why I didn't do this a long time ago. It's just seeing that one photo over the top of my head, and it's like,
Ooh.
okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
When it looks like you're wearing a yarmulke and you're not.
Yeah.
It's time.
Or a reverse yarmulke.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Okay, so Chuck does touch lightly on this since we have a separate audience for the videos with Chuck in them, but this story, we have to talk about this. It is Shark Week after all.
And we all know about Cocaine Bear. But have you heard about Cocaine Sharks?
What is Cocaine Bear? I didn't hear. Oh, yeah, we did. We talked about Cocaine Bear.
Yeah. In what could be the plotline for the next cheesy marine-themed disaster movie? Can anyone say Sharknado? Anyway,
Yeah.
scientists
I
think...
actually watched that movie. And
Really?
It was every bit as bad as they said it was.
And it made tons of money, so it just goes
Because
to show
it was
you.
kind of like... It was kind of like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was like so bad you couldn't not watch it.
Right.
It was just so cheesy.
I'll have to watch it
The
sometime.
one-liners were so terrible.
Well, it did so well, there was actually several sequels, if I
yeah,
understand correctly.
I never watched a sequel. Yeah.
Anyway, what could be the plotline for the next cheesy marine-themed disaster movie? Scientists think crazed and hungry sharks could be feasting on bales of hallucinatory drugs dumped off the Florida coast.
All by Hunter Biden.
Yet, I didn't say that. Yet, while cocaine
Well,
sharks...
there's no proof and they'll never prove it.
This is
because it can't be
important.
proved.
You're interrupting the most
Sorry.
important part of this
Did the,
part of the article.
did the cocaine shark get the princess in the end?
Yes, an aider. Yet while Cocaine Sharks, a highlight of Discovery's upcoming Shark Week,
I was right.
so it was part of Shark Week, okay, does indeed examine if the ocean predators are chomping on floating pharmaceuticals cast overboard by passing traffickers. Marine scientists who made the TV program say its purpose is beyond gratuitous entertainment. It's a catchy headline to shed light on a real problem, that everything we use, everything we manufacture, everything we put into our bodies ends up in our wastewater streams and natural water bodies, and these aquatic life we depend on to survive are then exposed to that, said Dr. Tracy Fanara, a Florida-based environmental engineer and lead member of the research team. We've seen studies with pharmaceuticals, cocaine, methamphetamines, ketamine, all of these, where fish are being affected by drugs.
A shark on ketamine. Ooh.
If these cocaine bales
Hey,
are...
sexy. Let me rub my sandpaper up again.
If these cocaine bales are a point source of pollution, it's very plausible sharks can be affected by this chemical.
Okay, so how much cocaine is in a bale? Because when I think of bale, I think of a bale of hay, and that's a lot of cocaine.
That's a lot of coke. Yeah. It's very plausible sharks can be affected by this chemical. Cocaine is so soluble that any of those packages open just a little, the structural integrity is destroyed and the drug is in the water. Cocaine Sharks is expected to be one of the biggest draws of Shark Week, no doubt. The Discovery Network's popular annual showcase of the species from great whites, hammerheads, and tiger sharks.
All right, there's
down to
1
the
kilo
smallest
in a
vehicle.
bale, and they're each worth between $15,000 and $35,000. So
right.
I say we catch those sharks and we make us some yummy, yummy shark fin soup and sell it for $15,000 a bowl.
In their
Holy
research conducted during 6 days at sea in the Florida Keys, Shark Week is a reason to get cable TV. It's one of the very few reasons to get cable TV.
Yeah, if I could just like a la carte one.
Well, they never did that. Now they do out of desperation. Everybody's just gone on to streaming. They don't care anymore. In their research, they waited too long. Conducted during 6 days at sea in the Florida Keys, the ecologically sensitive island chain off the state's Florida southern tip, Fanara and British marine biologist Tom Hurd observed sharks exhibiting peculiar behaviors. A hammerhead, a series that would usually swim away from humans, came directly towards the divers, moving erratically. They also observed a sandbar shark swimming in circles as it focused on an imaginary object, man. They also conducted experiments, including dropping dummy bales in the water, which many of the sharks took bites out of, and loading balls of bait with highly concentrated fish powder to simulate cocaine.
So if they're biting it, they're liking it.
Yeah,
We're
bite it, you'll like it.
We're getting sharks addicted to coke.
Yes.
This does not bode well for humanity.
No. The effect the researchers said was akin to catnip on felines. It's the next
Yikes.
best thing and sets their brains aflame. It was crazy. Fanar said they chose the Florida Keys as the
Brains
best.
Aflame would be a good name for a band.
My brain is flaming. I don't know which way to go. Thank you very much. Fanar said they chose the Florida Keys as the best location for their research because convergence of ocean currents made the region prevalent for floating bales of coke. Florida serves as a staging point for large quantities of drugs making their way into the U.S. from South America. I thought they said that was under control. And plastic-wrapped bundles of cocaine are often lost at sea or tossed over by traffickers being pursued by law enforcement. Last month, the U.S. Coast Guard announced it recovered more than $186 million worth of illegal narcotics from the waters of the Caribbean and southern Florida. But such seizures have little impact on an industry operating at record levels. And on it goes. But, so yeah.
Somebody who knows our cat very well says, I can just picture Fritzy singing Cocaine Shark really fast to the tune of Baby Shark. Do 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 do. Cocaine Shark.
That might actually happen.
That might actually happen, yes. Okay, this is creepy, so you're going to have to go look at the pictures of this. There is a new trend in China called face kini.
What?
Everything that you wear to go swimming in is a kini, even though they are literally covered from head to toe. So imagine wearing a full-on wetsuit. That also includes your entire face, so that all you can see are eye holes and nostril holes. I mean, it's creepy. This lady looks like an orange member of the Blue Man Group. So apparently in Beijing, face kinis are the hottest new fashion as surging temperatures shatter records.
That is very creepy.
And they go on and on
looking.
about global warming and yada yada. So they've taken to carrying portable fans, covering themselves up to avoid getting burnt. Some have hats and fans built in the hats. Face kinis, full face masks with holes for the wearer's eyes and nose, separate sleeves to cover arms, as well as wide-brim hats and lightweight jackets made of UV-resistant fabric, have become especially popular. Compared to before the pandemic 2 or 3 years ago, this year is much, much better than the previous year. Sales volume is definitely up a lot this year, says a salesperson who gave her surname as Wang, who works in a shop that sells hats. They really backed into that. They could say, hat seller so-and-so. It's like you had to read the whole thing to find out who the heck she was and why we care. Many female consumers in East Asia favor fair skin, and sun protection products are also popular in neighboring counties such as South Korea. The main concern I have is potential skin diseases or developing sunspots, says Li Xiang, a 17-year-old student who was visiting a tourist area in Beijing with her mother, both wearing masks that covered most of their faces. Because, face masks just aren't creepy enough unless you cover the whole face.
Oh, by the way, I'm making a prediction. Write it down. Today, within 5 years, it's going to be all over the beaches on the east and west coast of the United States.
Pass.
Yeah, you might pass. I'll pass, but that doesn't. We're not the demographic anymore.
Well, I
They've
bet
cast
you
us
Muslims
aside.
would love them because they completely cover everything.
I don't
So,
know. I don't know.
I mean,
It's
I bet
just
you it's going to go rampant all over Asia.
yeah.
Okay, next one is a little oopsie.
A little oopsie.
A little bit of an oopsie.
Oh yeah, this is an oopsie. Talk about misgendering. This is insane. Okay.
Well, I mean, in their defense, she really does look like a boy.
It's a girl, and it's also another girl. In a shocking but nonetheless joyous turn of events, an Ohio zoo discovered upon the birth of its newest western lowland gorilla that the baby's mother was not male, as the zookeepers initially thought, but female. The new baby's mother, an 8-year-old primate named Sully, who has been a resident at the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium since 2019,
was believed to be a male gorilla. That is, until her carers came to her enclosure early Thursday and discovered her holding her unexpected infant. The following announcement was made
They're
on the
really
zoo's...
hands off at that zoo, aren't they?
They must be. I mean, good gravy. It was made on the zoo's official Facebook page. We have an adorable surprise to share with all of you today. Our gorilla family just got a little bigger with the unexpected birth of a female baby gorilla, but here's another incredible part. Our dedicated, but probably not too bright keepers recently discovered that the proud mom, who was initially believed to be a male, is actually a female gorilla. Talk about a surprise twist. According to the zoo's official blog, such a situation occurs because it can be difficult to tell the sex of a gorilla when they are young. Okay, I did not know that. Until about age 8, males and females are about the same size.
Don't you look at the bottom of their feet like you do with cats and dogs when they're born?
No, I never did that. I just take people's word for it.
You don't get that. Okay, so we had a litter of kittens, and you sex them by looking, underneath them. So my baby brother he must have been like 5, maybe 6. And he had seen us with a litter of kittens, and we were, this one's a boy and this one's a girl and this and that. And so fast forward a year or two, and somebody had a cat in their yard, and they're like, I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. I don't know. I don't. Should I adopt it? Should I catch it and take it to the thing or whatever? And Paul goes, "What? You don't know if it's a boy or a girl? Didn't you look at the bottom of his feet?" So he thought you could tell if cats were boys or girls if you look at the bottom of their feet, because he didn't know what we were looking at.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, this is something I didn't know. Until about age 8, males and females are about the same size, and they don't have prominent sex organs. As gorillas age, they become sexually dimorphic, meaning males and females look very different. However, males don't develop the characteristic large size, silverbacks, and large head bumps called sagittal crests until age 12 or later.
That's what you have, a sagittal crest. I'm really getting a dirty look right now. Your back is kind of silver.
Anyway, Sully was not born at Columbus Zoo, and her original carers maintained a hands-off approach in the care. You just said that yourself.
I did say that, yeah.
Which may explain why her previous home thought the new mom was a male. Upon arriving at Columbus Zoo, Sully was a young and healthy animal and did not need any procedures.
Nobody noticed that there was Bodie-O-Do going on in the cages?
I don't know.
They weren't going to
Anyway.
celebrate their gay gorilla?
Congratulations to Sully and their new child. Okay.
Yeah. Is that what they said?
No,
Oh.
that's me.
All right. This one's really fun. Is there anything in science more exciting than when ancient legend is confirmed by modern research?
I'm glad you got this one because it's a great
Archaeologists
story.
in Mexico were able to experience this exact triumph when they found evidence that a mythical underground city lies undisturbed beneath the altar of a church exactly where a Spanish legend said it would. Ooh, how fun. In the time of Babylon, there emerged from Mexico's Oaxaca Valley a culture known as the Zapotec. So they must have worn a lot of shoes. Zabos, yeah.
Oi.
Which could create monumental stone architecture, sophisticated crafts and artwork, as well as a written and spoken language that predated Mayan, Miztec, and Aztec. I love these ancient civilizations that were more advanced than the ones that came after them. It's so cool. They were among Mesoamerica's first great civilizations and existed longer than perhaps any other from 700 BCE to the time of Spanish conquest when they were part of the Aztec Empire. Legend has it that the Zapotec built a great labyrinth city called Laoba, or Place of Rest. Laoba, centered around a large cavity found in the earth, which they believe was the gateway to the underworld. Later venturing Spanish missionaries were so repulsed and frightened to explore more than a few yards into the tunnel network that they ordered the infernal gate to be closed through masonry. This was a Dominican chronicler named Francisco Burgoa. Now, a collaboration between the Mexican National Institute of History and Anthropology, the National Autonomous University of Mexico and the Association of Archaeological Research and Exploration called the ARCS Project, has discovered a vast underground labyrinth. Ooh, I so want to explore that. Underneath the 15th century church in San Pablo, all but confirming the Zapotec legend. Researchers have created a 3D model of the passageways using a combination of 3 geophysical scanning technologies, ground-penetrating radar, electro-resistancy tomography, and seismic noise tomography, all of which left the archaeological site above undisturbed.
Huh.
So we didn't just go down there, flashlights ablazing.
Right.
Sad face. I want to go.
I do too.
I mean, I understand not wanting to disturb it. The model shows a very large, hollow void underneath the precise location of the altar inside the church that was built on the Mislas site. Additionally, the void appears to be connected with another significantly geophysical anomaly located immediately to the north. Burgoa's account speaks of vast subterranean temple consisting of 4 interconnected chambers containing the tombs of the high priest and the kings of Teozapatlan. I'm sure I butchered that. Reads a press release on the truly epic discovery. And the church itself is, pretty old, too. From the last subterranean chamber, a stone door led into a deep cavern extending 30 leagues below ground. This cavern was intersected by other passages like streets, its roof supported by pillars. The electrical tomography confirmed the existence of 2 passageways between 18 and 26 feet below the ground. They entered the void from the east. Their scanning also revealed what could be barricaded entranceway that Bugora spoke of. Fascinating. Well, I hope we'll keep up on that. Looks like it revealed evidence of earlier construction stage of the palace. A lot of other interesting stuff, and they will continue to study it.
I would love to explore
Yeah.
someplace like that. I really would. That would be thrill of a lifetime.
All right. Max put one in here for you.
So we're skipping the fracking. Yeah, it was. It's
yeah,
fine.
we can talk about fracking another time. This one's really easy, or not easy, really interesting because you hear about all this bad stuff about fracking, but this actually opened up a whole geothermal
Source of
pilot project
geothermal,
that could
yeah.
actually advance a renewable.
We'll
So
talk
that
about.
in a nutshell, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We might talk about that more.
But we
in the
want to talk
future.
about the cat story first.
Okie dokie. A family in Wellington, a town just north of Fort Collins, is cuddling their family cat a little closer after it somehow ended up more than 170 miles away from home.
I think that's further than Max went, but he ain't telling.
Yeah. He's gone for 10 days. I think he must have. Amber Harris said her cat, Nimsy, somehow survived a 3-week, 170-mile journey before being saved by the Humane Society of the Pikes Peak region. Wow. Harris said Nimsy, a 3-year-old cat they adopted, went missing 3 weeks ago from their Wellington home. Their son mistakenly left the door open to their home, and the cat was able to slip out. Little twerp. We can't... I'm sorry.
Max doesn't slip out. He
he
demands and bloviates and
he struts
pontificates
out.
and-
He's
yeah.
Anyway, we canvassed the neighborhood, blasted her all over social media, Harris told CBS. We heard nothing, no signs anywhere of her, so we're like, she's gone. Oh, The family reported Nimsy as missing to Larimer Humane Society and had even left her litter box outside in hope of bringing her back. However, with I-25 and busy frontage roads near their home and a threat of hawks and owls in the area, Harris said she feared her cat was gone forever.
Live in an area like we do.
Yeah. Then, while at work one day, Harris answered a phone call from a number she didn't have saved. The phone call was from the Humane Society of Pikes Peak region in Colorado Springs. The woman whose call was letting Harris know that Nimsy was found alive in Colorado Springs and needed to be picked up. My coworker said my face went red. I was like, what? Harris recalled. The woman on the phone asked Harris if she could pick the cat up that night. I asked her if this was Loveland or Fort Collins, and she said, oh no, this is the Humane Society in Colorado Springs, Harris said. Oh, look at the black kitty. Black kitty, black kitty, black kitty. An arrangement was made to... They're all hugging her. Like, leave me alone. I'm home already. Just stop.
Crazy people.
An arrangement was made to pick Nimsy up from Colorado Springs the next day. Harris's husband and her son went to pick up Nimsy and brought her home. However, nobody knows how Nimsy got all the way to Fountain, a town south of Colorado Springs. We have no idea how she made it down there, Harris said.
Must have hitched a ride.
Yep. One theory is that Nimsy may have made her way into the car of a friend of a neighbor who lives in Colorado Springs and had recently visited.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Harris said she couldn't envision Nimsy walking all the way to Fountain without being hit by a car, attacked, or claimed by someone else. Luckily, Nimsy had a microchip, always microchip your cats and dogs, that allowed the Humane Society to easily find an address and phone number for the Harris family. This story is the perfect example of the importance of microchipping animals and why it is so important and the best solution for us to return your pet to you, said Cody Kostra, spokesman for the Humane Society. She also said it's important to always have your vet update your pet's microchip if you ever move or switch phone numbers. So, happy for the Nimsy family.
I like the last paragraph.
Okay.
She's back to stealing mini muffins and killing spiders. It is definitely a lot more homey with her back. She is a really great companion to have around. Now, I have to admit, Max has never stole a mini muffin, but then again, I don't think we've ever had a mini muffin.
Yeah. As much as I love those, we've been staying away from them.
Okay, this is fantastic news. Indonesia's notorious Tomohon Animal Market is going to stop selling dog and cat meat.
You know, it's strange that in 2023 it was even a thing.
No.
But I mean, we're Americans. We're not Indonesian. It's just.
So this is a similar site to the wet markets in China, where they sell dog, bats, and other animals in far from sanitary conditions. The Extreme Market, that's its actual name, on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi has long sparked outrage with pictures widely shared online showing animals being bludgeoned and blowtorched while still alive. So there's this superstition, apparently, that meat tastes better if you torture it first. I don't know. Their treatment was described by welfare groups as brutally cruel and like walking through hell. The backlash saw celebrities including Cameron Diaz, Simon Cowell, and Ricky Gervais signing a letter calling on Indonesian President Joko Widodo to ban the trade way back in 2018. Sky News reported on this in 2020 following the outbreak of COVID, which is widely thought to have first emerged from a similar site in Wuhan, but we all know that's a bunch of bunk. We found the carcasses of dogs, bats, snakes, and other animals being sold in far from sanitary conditions. The change in policy regarding dog and cat meat was announced by the local mayor on Friday. It will make the first such market in Indonesia to go dog and cat meat free, according to anti-animal cruelty group Humane Society International. The group will rescue the remaining dogs and cats from the slaughterhouse suppliers and take them to sanctuaries. So God bless those who were working on that. They said that besides being inhumane and horrific, it also risked bringing rabies to humans. This group is working to stop dog and cat meat worldwide, and I wish them Godspeed, even though thousands are still being...
Yeah.
So this says around 7% of Indonesians eat dog. Though 90% of the country are Muslims and would not go near it. So at least there's one good thing that they have going for them. Okay, well, live critters. That's a good thing. I'm thinking we're going to skip nice things this week because we're cruising right along. We've got a lot more stuff to talk about. Plus, we got to talk about our first episode of our new series. So
That's true.
I say we play that and then we pay some bills, and then we play Holy Crap and do some new normal, and we'll probably be out of a show by then. I mean,
We'll find out. I mean, there may be room for why we can't have nice things. People come in to listen for that sometimes.
yeah,
so.
that is true. I mean,
So,
but don't worry.
Let's
we'll
just
always
play
have
it by ear. We'll play it by ear.
We do have to talk about the hell fleas, though.
Yes, we do.
We do have to talk about
Because
okay,
I did promise that in our.
So I'll make sure I
blurb.
put the hell fleas at the top.
Okay.
That way we don't lose the hell fleas, because that is in our promise that we must deliver. So at the very least, we will talk about the hell fleas. And the rest we can talk about later.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the premiere of Blusterpiece Theater.
On tonight's Blusterpiece Theater, we present the world premiere of Brandon, King of the USA, starring Joe Biden as King Brandon and Maximilian von Riegelbieser as assistant to the king. Tonight's episode is made possible by a grant from the American Conniption Society, our longtime corporate sponsor GlaxoSmithKline, Bayer, Bristol Myers Squibb, Pfizer, Johnson, Moderna, Lilly Sandoz, and the contributions of supporters like you. And now, Brandon, King of the USA, Episode 1. All hail the King of the United States, King Brandon the First!
Hi, everybody! Hey, Max, who's that bunch of people bowing?
Why, Your Majesty, it's the members of the state-owned press. You know, NBC, CNN, the Washington Post, the Los Angeles Times. They are here to do your bidding.
Neato! How long have they been bowing?
Since about 45 minutes ago, when you were actually scheduled to arrive, sire.
Oh, okay.
All right, everyone, you can stand now. Now, sire, the press is ready to ask you some questions.
I don't wanna. Why can't the cute black Raggedy Ann lady do it?
Good sir, they have been bent over for 3/4 of an hour. It's the least you can do. I already have the pre-approved, color-coded list of journalists with their headshots, their probable questions, and perfectly reasonable-sounding answers. As long as you stick to this list, it will be over before you know it.
Oh, all right. Let's see. Orange Dot, number 8. Nice hair. Tom Scott from CBS.
Your Majesty, the Secret Service has said there is no way we'll ever know who brought that bag of cocaine to the West Wing.
You're full of shit.
Oh dear, he's going off script again.
Excuse me?
It wasn't cocaine. It was, confectioner's sugar for the royal baker. He knows how much I like it sprinkled on my royal donuts.
But sire, even your own FBI said it was...
It was confectioner's sugar.
No, Your Highness, it was...
Guards!
Okay, all right. So, the Secret Service has said there's no way to tell who brought in the bag of sugar. With all due respect, don't you find it odd that even though it was in an area where less than 100 people have access, they're all fingerprinted and there are cameras everywhere, they still don't know who did it?
Odd? It's not odd. Your haircut is odd. Next!
I must admit, that wasn't a bad response.
Okay, blue square, number 4, honey and oatmeal shampoo. Tina Saunders, MSNBC.
Following up on Tom's question, there are rumblings from people connected to this investigation that it was not an accident, that the sugar may have been delivered on purpose by a courier.
Hey, that wasn't supposed to be the question you asked.
Sire, don't.
You were supposed to ask me about the BIPOC, trans mentally divergent girl I added to the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
With all due respect, I think our viewers are much more concerned about this. The sources further imply that this delivery was designated for a member of the royal family. They didn't say it was specifically for Prince Hunter, just a member of the family. To be clear, Highness, they did not exclude you. Do you care to comment?
Yes, here's my comment. Off with her head!
Sire, we don't do that anymore.
Here's the thing. If you weren't a woman and I weren't higher than an electric bill, I'd take you up behind the woodshed and sniff your hair. No, wait, that wasn't right. Anyway, shut up. Next!
The king will take no more questions about white powdery substances, be they sugar, flour, salt, or guar gum.
Ooh, you have gum?
Sorry, Highness, I had my last chiclet an hour ago.
Oh, well, let's see. Yellow triangle, number 13. What's this say? Guaranteed softball. Ooh, I love softball. I remember when I used to play softball. I was the all-time state champion for 20 years in a row.
Yes, sire, you were the best, but you should probably concentrate on the journalists for now.
Oh yeah. So, Misty Roberts, Newsweek. You look like you played softball. Look at your great cams. Why, when I was your age, I had some hairy legs that kids like to sit on my lap and rug my leg hairs. I love kids on my lap. Old Raisin Bran was a bad dude, but I took him behind the pool shed and... Oh, wait. What was your softball question?
Highness, you have repeatedly talked about the importance of family, and you appear to be especially fond of your granddaughters.
Hey, that question's not about softball. Oh well, that's okay because I love all 6 of them. We play Mario Kart. They let me win.
Is that really true?
Well, of course they let me win at Mario Kart. What kind of malarkey are you talking?
Not the Mario Kart, the 6.
Oh boy, here it comes.
That's right, 6. I can count to 6. 1, 2, 400 bill 6.
7.
6.
7.
It's 6, you pony-faced dog soldier.
Oh, I beg to differ.
You'll be begging for more than differing if you say 7 one more time.
Her name is Navy Joan King, Brandon. Navy Joan.
You are forbidden to utter that name in my royal presence.
Navy Joan, Navy Joan, Navy Joan. Navy Joan, Navy Joan, Navy Joan, Navy Joan, Navy Joan, Navy Joan.
Ah! Max, arrest them all. Have them drawn and quartered. Behead them and take away their press credentials. Toss them in the dungeon with that orange dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our press conference. Please exit quietly and quickly. See you next time.
Okay, that's all for today, guys. This way.
All
Come
right.
on
Well,
now. Out
this
now.
is
Bye
out
now.
this
Bye
side.
now.
Time
All
to
right.
go.
Bye.
Time to
Bye
go.
now. Okay,
To the
this
right.
way
To
now.
the right. You
Bye-bye.
know how to do this. You've done
Okay,
this
out,
before.
out, out now.
All right,
Come on
get
now.
out.
Bye-bye.
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 How do you respond?
They used to be my friends. Why are they so mean to me now, Max?
Their Chinese bosses have turned against you.
What?
I said, it's ice cream time. What flavor would you like?
Yay! Do you have any chocolate chip?
I have no doubt. Come along with me, Your Majesty.
Max, what would I do without you?
I shudder to think, good sir. And that concludes tonight's episode. Blusterpiece Theatre returns soon with episode 2 of Brandon, King of the USA. Please join us. Blusterpiece Theatre is made possible by a grant from the National Society of the Antisocial, the Scottish Order of Laundromats, and the donations of people like you. Sucker.
Yeah, I get it. Your parents were jerks and you're traumatized. But that doesn't mean you should use your lousy childhood as an excuse to be a lousy adult. Stop being such a whiner and get past your past already. Buy Get Over It and Get Started, the book by Melanie Hope that will get you out of your self-imposed failure and on the road to greatness. Available in paperback, Kindle, and Nook.
There are times in your life when a normal beer just won't do. You want a beer with body. You want a beer with volume. You want a beer with a unique flavor all its own. That's when it's time to crack open an ice-cold bottle of Flint water. Flint water lager is made with the finest municipal water Michigan has to offer. Brewed with the best grains you could purchase in bulk from the outlet store and aged in casks made from abandoned pallets from our world-famous shuttered car factories. One sip of Flint water and you'll know it's the best beer you'll ever taste. It may also be the last beer you'll ever taste, and in that case, why not go out with the very best? Flint Water Beer, the brew for you. Flint Water Brewing Company, Flint, Michigan. Don't drink responsibly, drink Flint water.
In a world where the landscape is darkened by freedom, there is only one hope for humanity: Antifa. In a time where free speech threatens to end life as we know it, there is only one hope for humanity: Antifa. In a country where Easter worshippers unite to tear apart our very social fabric, there is only one hope for humanity: Antifa. Tonight, on the Warner Universal Disney Fox network, the continuing story of the world's greatest force for peace and justice, Antifa, starring Tab Rockenfeld as Captain Bart Bikelock.
Quick, Black Hood, check out the image on the re-screen. No time to lose. Antifa Force, assemble!
Also starring Ginger Lake as Barbara Black Hood.
Oh no, Captain, it can't be. A group of men sitting peacefully in a circle and praying. What are they trying to do to our fair city?
Featuring Steve Marcel as Kirby Skater Boy, Mario Spinetti as Perpetual College Student, John or Jane Doe as Gender Ambiguous Person, Melinda Jones as Pissed Off Lesbian Girl, and Raphael Smith as a closeted violent psychopathic man. Tonight's special guest, Max von Riegelbieser as the mainstream media enabler.
In all my years behind this desk, I have never seen such awful days as this. Despite the best efforts of our educational system and our elected officials, forces more evil than Chihuahua breeders have discovered the dark power of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. They are practicing the witchcraft of thinking for themselves. Even worse, right this very minute, people are doing actual research and reporting things on their own rather than blindly trusting us. Oh, where has this once great nation gone? Antifa, save us!
Tune in tonight at 9 p.m. for Antifa! And catch back episodes on demand at msnbcnnbcbsnbcondemand.com.
Leaders, listen up. Do you feel like you can't get a dang thing done because of all the namsy-pamsy crybabies that want you to coddle their creativity? When you give orders, are you met with vacant stares only rivaled by a cocker spaniel? It's not them. It's you. You need to shape up or they'll ship you out. Read The Sniper's Guide to Leadership, and you'll become a more effective leader, communicator, and motivator. Forget SMART goals and learn SWIFT goals. Get The Sniper's Guide to Leadership in paperback, Kindle, and Nook. Today!
Hello, my name is... what do you care? Anyway, my people have had years and years of persecution. We've complained about it ever since Moses brought us out of the wilderness. So what do you all do? You now pay absolutely no attention to us at all anymore. Women's March this, Black Lives that. What are we, chopped liver? It's time we stood up and started complaining again. We have developed the very weapon that will help us reclaim our rightful place of kvetching in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Mazel Tov cocktail. Handcrafted from the finest kosher beer bottles, filled with the tears of our ancestors that burn hotter than the Arab sun, and wicked by our own rendered garments, the Mazel Tov cocktail is guaranteed to splatter and spread millennia's worth of oppressed rage and guilt, so you'll know for certain you are doing God's wake. Use the best, forget the rest, the #1 bomb for civil unrest, made exclusively by the world's oppressed, Mazel Tov.
May cause itching, burning, stinging, sores, zits, hives, freckles, cancer, and Karen Collins. Not for use by plebs, noobs, cucks, simps, fascists, do-nothing weaklings, and especially Antifa, because they are all of those things. Most effective at night after curfew. Mazel Tov is not responsible for any breakages, slippage, mishandling, jail time, or insurance claims. Hi, everybody. This is Fritzina Fluffybottom. Did you know that we have a Subscribe Star? We do! There are lots of fabulous extra things on there that you can't get anywhere else, like outtakes, new books, and extra videos. And you can sign up for as little as $1. Our entire show is funded by you, our loyal viewers. Please make sure you sign up today so that Mommy and Daddy can get me shiny new bells for my collar, extra feathery toys, yummy crumbly cat food bowls made just for kitty cats, more cow pillows for my couch, name brand albacore tuna, my own pink newscast.
And now, CCW News presents Holy Crap, This Is Actually Happening! Basement Dweller Edition, July 23rd, 2023. I'm Chuck U. Farley. The Cabbage-in-Chief announced that his reanimation campaign will be headquartered in Wilmington, Delaware, so that he'll never have to leave his basement again. This is good, given that all the criminal evidence against him is now stacked so high that even his weaponized DOJ, FBI, IRS, and other bloated three-letter fascist branches, including CNN, can no longer cover up for him. Best to lay low, big guy. Looks like Jaws has become an honorary Florida man, or at least a patsy for Hunter. After witnessing erratic behavior, shark experts say that the man-eaters may be munching on smugglers' hastily tossed bales of cocaine. I swear, I am not making this up. A few days after Senator Rand Paul introduced the End Endless Wars Act, which would repeal the 2001 authorization for use of military force, so that, according to our own Constitution, if the U.S. is going to war, Congress needs to actually declare war, someone coincidentally torched his Bowling Green offices to the ground. Speaking of war criminals, Biden's cluster bombs are already causing massive collateral damage, including killing reporters and other innocent civilians, as predicted. In an unpredicted move, an American soldier is currently being detained after jumping the DMZ into North Korea. The Biden administration says they have no intention of negotiating for his release, as it's reported that he's sober, does not play women's basketball, and were fresh out of Merchants of Death to trade him for. White liberal racists have censored Jason Aldean off of their platforms for his song denouncing rioting, looting, and murdering your neighbors because they assume it is about black people. Turns out controlled opposition propaganda mill Fox News matches its employees' contributions to Moloch-worshipping organizations like the Satanic Temple, the Trevor Project, and Planned Parenthood. Because of course they do. For CCW News, this has been Holy Crap, This Is Actually Happening! I'm Chuck U. Farley. Good night, and may God help us.
Now, see, that's why we can't have nice things. All right, as promised. Would you like to start out, Jimmy?
This is, I've often said this, I'll say it again. Texas is the Australia of the United States.
We are definitely the Australia of the U.S.
Alrighty.
The size of some of the critters we've seen just lately.
Yeah.
We had a big old horny toad in our tomatoes yesterday. The dogs were like thrilled.
All right, a Texas man has had both his hands and part of his feet amputated after catching typhus from a flea.
I know, Max. That's why you're on flea medicine, buddy.
Michael Kohlhoff from Houston was visiting his mother in hospital in San Antonio when he fell ill on June 19th with what his family suspected was the flu. The 35-year-old was immediately rushed to the ICU suffering from sepsis and organ failure that was so severe his family was told he would likely die. But the handyman and pet sitter miraculously pulled through, yet remains in hospital with multiple further surgeries expected.
Why did they have to amputate, like, everything? That sounds so weird.
I don't know, but he's not going to be much of a handyman at this point. I wasn't meant as a joke. It was not meant as a joke. It really wasn't. All right, fine, but he almost died once or twice, said his brother Greg. They were worried about him being brain dead. Koloff did not show any abnormal symptoms in the weeks leading up to his diagnosis, although he felt tired. Symptoms of typhus include fever and chills, body aches and muscle pain, loss of appetite, and vomiting, according to the CDC. Untreated, typhus can cause severe illness and damage to one or more organs, including the liver, kidneys, heart, lungs, and brain, the CDC says. Greg told KENS5 that Michael was fortunate to be visiting his mother at the time. With his symptoms being so general, I don't know if he would have went to the doctor. He would have probably just tried to sleep it off. Lejeanne Hardaway, Kohlhoff's mother, said doctors told them this type of flea is only found in California and Texas.
Of course.
They said he was the victim of a severe and traumatic bite from one single flea with unimaginable consequences, she said on the GoFundMe page. Her son did not have health insurance, and she is now fundraising to help him. If it were 48 hours later, he would not have made it, she said. Greg said he was impressed with his brother's resilience. How he is right now, I'm just amazed, he said. He also told how his brother loved to be creative. Me and him talked about it. It's not your hands that do all these great things, it's your mind, Greg said he told his brother. You'll just have to find a new avenue to exercise it. He says Michael hopes people learn from his experience. I think he also wants people to know this kind of stuff is out there, said Greg. There are fleas, there are diseases, but just be cautious, be aware. Don't be afraid to live your life. Alishba Masood, Michael's girlfriend, told Channel 11, he has gone beyond our expectations as far as strength and bravery. He has a really positive outlook that we're all really proud of.
He's a better person than I am, because saying I'm lucky to be alive after they amputated my hands and feet, I'd be like, no, I'm really, really not. Mm. Wow.
So, flea-borne typhus has been rampant across the West Coast in recent years, with Los Angeles and Long Beach hit hard in 2018. Officials recorded 12 cases of the bug in Long Beach, home to 470,000 people and around 20 miles south of downtown L.A. I used to live near there. Many of the cases were among homeless people, and it was feared the disease was being spread by rats and feral cats. A further 20 cases were recorded in Pasadena and 59 in the whole of L.A. County in total. Pasadena and Long Beach are both technically in L.A. County, but they have their own health departments which record their own figures. Flea-borne typhus occurs when feces from an infected insect come into contact with a person's cut or gets rubbed into their eyes. Blech. These fleas often live on feral cats and rats who are attracted to areas with trash on the streets. Fortunately, Max and Fritzy are much more refined.
Yeah, I think they're safe here.
The 20...
They don't get streets, much less trash on them.
Man, oh man.
This poor man. Wow. All right, from killer fleas to exploding cider bottles. Jeremy Clarkson has warned that bottles of his cider could explode because of a, quote, massive cock-up.
Well, that's the best reason, I guess.
The TV presenter started selling beer and cider in 2021 under the brand name Hawkstone. On Friday, he said on Twitter, there's been a massive cock-up, and as a result, there's a very slim chance some of our Hawkstone cider bottles might, there's no easy way of saying this, explode. If the cap has the code L3160, open it underwater, pour it away, and get in touch for a refund. Open it underwater. So jump in a pool to open your cider. Really sorry about this, but on the upside, the beer is fine and still delicious, as is the cider and bottles that are unaffected, which is almost all of them. The beer and cider are largely made from ingredients grown on Clarkston's 1,000-acre Diddley Squat farm in Chipping Norton. If you're going to name a farm, I like Diddley Squat. Not as good as Morningwood Estates, but it's up there. He bought the land in 2008, but did not start to run it in earnest until 2021. His attempts to get the farm fully up and running are chronicled in the Amazon Prime show Clarkson's Farm. Okay, so that's why people know him. A post on the Hawkstone Instagram account said the issue was due to a small amount of the cider over-fermenting. It advised affected consumers take a photo of the caps and we will send you a fresh batch or a refund. In the latest series of his TV show, the farm gets new animals and crops, and there are meetings with the local council over planning permission.
I think we've watched this show at least once.
I don't know. I'd never heard of the dude. I just thought, exploding cider.
Of course.
Cocaine sharks and exploding cider. I mean, killer fleas. I mean, we got it all here, counterculture-wise. Okay, well, I've worked really hard on this sounder, and I have some stuff to talk about, so I think we need to play this.
This is not Bubba Waters. It is no longer 2020, but this is your new abnormal.
It's not a conflict of interest. There's been no indication of any conflict of interest from Ukraine or anywhere else. Period. I'm not gonna respond to that. But I'm not joking when I say this. If you're ever working with me and I hear you treat another colleague with disrespect, talk down to someone, I promise you I will fire you on the spot. On the spot. No ifs, ands, or buts. Read the polls, Jack. You guys are all the same. I don't want to hear any more of these lies about reckless spending. I'm too long in the tooth to fool with this any longer. Not a joke. No, and I'm thanking you. That's not what I said. You're playing a game with me. I know. The answer is no. I think what happens is we have to demonstrate the purpose, the single most important thing. I'm the only white boy within 20 miles. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying you, before you got in this program, if you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Everybody is entitled to be treated with decency and dignity. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Some of those aged like a fine milk.
Yes, they did.
What should I take a test for? It's like asking you if you're on cocaine. Well, sir, are ya?
Running all around my brain.
Yeah. So, apparently King Brandon, some of those were from a report called Old Yeller. Because apparently behind closed doors, he...
A bit of a screamer, the man is. Yeah.
And he's always been a jerk. Everybody's known that. His persona's always been sweet, elderly, grandpa, haha, but he's always been a corrupt, racist jerk. You can go back all the way to the 1970s. And he was a corrupt, racist jerk. I mean, the press corps has done a marvelous job of pulling the wool over people's eyes. But if you look at his history, and you look how consistent he's been at being a racist jerk that flies off the handle and threatens to beat people up and wants to do push-ups and calls them fat and on and on and on, makes Trump look like a pussycat.
Yeah.
But, Pravda is so good at what they do that they've managed to completely gaslight the nation and literally project that upon the evil orange man while protecting old basement dweller Joe. So I guess even the copium is insane. I mean, the copium is stronger than cocaine-addled sharks, okay? They're literally on now saying, oh, well, this actually makes him more likable because we know how feisty he is and he only insults those that he respects and only yells at people that he thinks can do better. And it's like, wow, that is hardcore. These are people that are talking like abused spouses that are making excuses for when their husband beats the living crap out of them. Well, he only does it when I don't put his socks in the right drawer, or but he's actually I like it because he's strong and people seriously. Stop it, okay? You are in a cult. And even you aren't believing the garbage that you're spewing. Even you don't believe this. And speaking of cults, of course, this article doesn't mention the particular cult that the certain assaulters belong to, but one can make an inference based on the actions.
One could. Thousands of people, mostly women, held a massive sit-in in India's violence-racked northeastern state of Manipur on Saturday, demanding the immediate arrest of those involved in the harrowing mob assaults.
Wait, the immediate arrest as in they weren't arrested? Okay, sorry, go on.
I don't know. I'm reading this for the first time. Those involved in the harrowing mob assaults on two women who were paraded naked. Religious and women's organization leaders addressed nearly...
Trigger warning for those who might find this offensive. Just, it does get pretty dark.
Okay. Religious and women's organization leaders addressed nearly 15,000 protesters who also called for the sacking of Biren Singh, the top elected official in the state, where more than 130 people have been killed since violence between two dominant ethnic groups erupted in early May. The protest was held in Churachapandur, a town 65 kilometers or 40 miles south of Imphal, the state capital. A video showing the assaults on women triggered massive outrage and was widely shared on social media late Wednesday despite the internet being largely blocked and journalists locked out of the remote state. The footage shows the two naked women surrounded by scores of young men who groped their genitals and dragged them into a field. Police said the assault occurred May 4th, the day before the violence started. According to a police complaint filed on May 18, the two women were part of a family attacked by a mob that killed its two male members. The complaint,
animals. They're not even human.
Yeah, they may look human, but they're not. The complaint alleges rape and murder by unknown miscreants. The state government on Saturday announced the arrest of a fifth suspect. Rajiv Singh, the state's director general of police, said police were carrying out raids to arrest other suspects. Manipur has been the scene of a near civil war that has sparkled when Christian Kookies protested a demand by the mostly Hindu Metlais for a special status that would let them buy land in the hills populated by Kookies and other tribal groups, as well as a guaranteed share of government jobs. Clashes have persisted despite the army's presence in Manipur, a state of 3.2 million people tucked into the mountains on India's border with Myanmar that is now divided into two ethnic zones. More than 60,000 people have fled to packed relief camps. Nearly 400 men and women also held a protest in the Indian capital with similar demands. They carried placards reading, "We demand action against the perpetrators," and "Resign Biren Singh." In Manipur State, the protesters assembled at a Wall of Remembrance site in an open ground in Churachapandur, a stronghold of the Kuki tribe, where they kept dummy coffins of people of their minority community killed in the violence. Nagain Kim, the chairperson of the Kuki Women Organization for Human Rights, accused Singh, who belongs to the majority Metis community, of orchestrating atrocities, then expressing sympathy with the victims. Singh did not comment immediately, but on Thursday said that an investigation was underway to ensure strict action is taken against all the perpetrators, including considering the possibility of capital punishment. Let it be known there is absolutely no place for such heinous acts in our society.
This is so un-Hindi. Just so not... And
Well, we have these preconceived notions about Hindus and Buddhists and even Christians that don't necessarily play out in the real world. You know, it's just...
I don't think it had anything to do with their religion, though.
Well,
I think
it doesn't. It's they use the religion as an excuse.
Yeah. But to film it and put it out there, I mean...
Well, did they film it and put it out there to celebrate it or to expose it?
You know damn well they filmed it and put it out there to celebrate it. Why else would they film it?
Don't know.
But the mere fact that they haven't been arrested yet, this is...
The fact they haven't been arrested yet says they don't really care. It's a bunch of words.
It's just like Britain and France now, where you can't arrest rapists and murderers because you might look racist. Like, no, you arrest rapists and murderers. I don't care what flavor they are. Period.
Yeah. So it's
just ridiculous. These poor women. Anyways. Welcome to the new normal, where we have a brain-dead moron as so-called president. Pretty much the cat's on the roof. I mean, I guess he's not making it to state dinners. He's not, everybody knows he can't string two words together. Anybody who's buying that he's president has got to be sick in the head. They have to be either just so deep in denial that they can't peek outside their little bubble, or they have to be mentally ill. I mean, there's no other choice. Look at him.
Well, the mentally ill need representation too, and so that's why he's there.
No, the mentally ill should not be the ones in charge. Period. Let's talk about our old stomping ground, Seattle. Apparently we built us a nice little Ewok village because there's so many homeless there isn't enough ground space for them, so now they've taken to the trees.
Your turn.
Seattle vagrants have now constructed a homeless encampment in the trees above the crime-ridden city, prompting one stunned local to liken it to the Ewok village from Star Wars. Local journalists stumbled across the ramshackle treehouse high in the city's trees and deployed a drone to get a closer look. The Ewok encampment has a wooden stepladder to let its residents reach the ground below it. Its floor appears to be comprised of foam blocks with a net supporting the soft material, which likely gives the shelter residents a comfortable sleeping experience. Up top, the sci-fi style enclosure is covered with a green tarpaulin. It has been stuffed with mounds of trash and the sort of detritus commonly seen in other encampments, including clothes and a black plastic crate. Why don't they take out their trash? I mean, it's one thing to be homeless, it's another thing to be completely surrounded by garbage all the time. It's unclear who lives in the treehouse, and no residents were visible during the guy's visit. The Ewok village appeared. They talk about where the furry creatures, yardy. And lots of pictures of it. It's actually quite elaborate.
It is.
Quite elaborate. After all the smoke cleared Friday afternoon, I went into the I-5 homeless encampment in downtown Seattle and found someone living up high in the evergreens. Just like the Ewok village scene. Earlier this month, Seattle hit the headlines after a swimming pool was constructed at a separate homeless encampment which saw a murder in May, with senior citizens living close to the slum left terrorized by its presence. In addition to the tree-dwelling individual, the reporter discovered a man building an intricate underground cave tunnel system. Oh, wow, that really is intricate. Okay. If only they could spend all that time and effort, I don't know, working? Maybe having a job?
Well, some are mentally ill and can't work. I mean, I get that, but...
Well, he's not mentally ill enough that he can't build a tree house or dig a tunnel. I met one guy who's extremely talented and should be working. Accompanying footage he took of the cave and its architect, he built one of the craziest encampments I've ever seen with an underground tunnel system in the works. The sheer complexity of the structure shocked the reporter, as it suggested a level of engineering skill beyond the usual makeshift dwellings found in homeless communities. But the state might want to get on this ASAP, he added. Imagine if this collapses on someone. Why take the risk? Only in Seattle. He asked the guy, why don't you be an architect? He explained he couldn't get a job because he didn't go to school, but if he was offered one, he would take it. What do you bet that if we were to go down there and offer him a job, he wouldn't take it? I've done this. They never do. The gentleman's name is Jesse. He said he built the structure because he had no job, no money, and struggled with, guess what? Drugs. So this is situated on Washington State Department of Transportation property, taxpayer funded. And he toured the property, stopping at various tents that were surrounded by trash and debris. I mean, seriously, if you're homeless and you have to build a tent or whatever, at least keep it neat. Why do you have to live in a dump? I don't get it. He says it's an environmental disaster in the making. What initially drew his attention to the West Seattle homeless encampment was a fully inflated adult-sized swimming pool, which became a controversial topic in recent weeks. Residents in an affluent Seattle neighborhood were outraged earlier this month after homeless people set up a swimming pool at their encampment, which officials refuse to remove, still to this day. Homeowners in Highland Park, where the median house price is nearly $600,000, said the addition feels like a slap in the face after months of voicing their concerns. Video captured by Como shows one woman sitting on a couch next to the pool and smoking fentanyl in broad daylight. You voted for him, folks. You voted for him. The encampment witnessed a recent murder as well as theft and open-air drug use, but the sight of the new inflatable swimming pool was really what threw neighbors off the edge. Keep voting Democrat. Vote harder. Vote harder. Officials of the crime-ridden city are dragging their heels with removing it despite outrage from law-abiding taxpayers living nearby. When I hear the shooting, I stay down and away from the windows. Imagine spending $600,000 in a home and having to duck and stay away from the windows because you're hearing shooters. There are times I've had to get on the floor in the middle of the night. That's a really nice pool, filter and everything. They set up a little enclosure and they really went for it. Here's the lady on the couch smoking her fentanyl.
Why the circle?
Hiding her face. I mean, you got to protect her, right? She doesn't look like
No.
she's going hungry. That's for dang sure.
Hmm.
Looks like she's missing about as many meals as I am. Of course, they're getting a bad rep, and we want to bring some positivity to the community. So she built a bunch of stuff to try to make the property that they've illegally overtaken a nicer property. Anyways, it goes on for quite a long time. If you want to see the pictures of the fentanyl smokers and the full-size swimming pool and the Ewok village, head on over to counterculturewise.com, where you can get all of our archived articles, as well as, hey, join our locals. We have a locals now. There's extra stuff. You get the animated version of Chuck a day earlier than everybody else, as well as extra goodies as we create them. And extra goodies are in the making, right, Jim?
Oh, you betcha. You bet your bippy.
My bippy is bet.
Exclusive videos and all kinds of fun stuff are on their way.
All right. Well, we are almost rounding up to the second hour, so would you like to head on into the Wonderfuller, or were there any other things you wanted to touch on?
I think we can do Wonderful or maybe a few bonus Florida Man.
I don't want to end on Florida Man. I think,
Okay.
I mean, given we only have 15 minutes and we've got 2 stories, I'm sure both of which will make one of us cry. Let's head on into the Wonderfuller.
Okay.
Here on Counterculture Wise, we may rant, we may rave, but most of all, we go against the current culture because we believe, to the core of our beings, that humans are good and the world is an amazing and beautiful place. At the beginning of our show, we give you news of the weird and wonderful, but that is just the tip of the magnificent iceberg that is our world. We now present news of the Wonderfuller. All right, which one did you post to make me cry the most?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to leave you in suspense. My story. A Franciscan monastery in Cochabamba, Bolivia, has warmly welcomed a 4-legged friar into its order. The monastery, fittingly named after St. Francis of Assisi, a Roman Catholic saint known for his adoration of animals, found Carmelo, an abandoned stray schnauzer. The pup was lovingly adopted by the Franciscan fraternity, and he eagerly accepted his new role as the monastery's mascot.
They built him a little robe, and that's so cute.
To properly usher in their recent recruit, the brothers christened him with his own holy name, Friar Bigoton, which comically translates to Brother Mustache.
That's cute.
He was also given his own tiny habit,
I
which
just
he
know that
proudly...
monks called what they wore a habit.
Yeah.
That was just a nun thing.
No. He was also given his own tiny habit, which he proudly wears as he explores his new dwellings and, of course, receives ample attention from his compassionate rescuers. His life is all about playing and running, Friar Jorge Fernandez told the Dodo. Here, all of the brothers love him very much. He is a creature of God. Friar Bigoton's new life isn't all fun and games, though. As evident in a series of photos posted to Facebook, he takes his religious duties like preaching to the fish, patrolling the grounds, and keeping his robe neat and tidy very seriously.
Preaching to the fish?
Friar Bigoton's life-saving adoption was facilitated by Proyecto Narices Frias, the Cold Nose Project,
cute.
a local animal rescue organization. Both Proyecto Proyecto Narices Frias and the, well, it's also my eyeballs. I'm not wearing glasses and I should be. And the Cochabamba Monastery hope that the heartwarming tale of the little dog's new life will inspire other compassionate religious groups to follow in their footsteps. If only all the churches of our country adopt a dog and care for him like Friar Bigoton, the appreciative organization, wrote in a Facebook post, we are sure that the parishioners would follow his example.
Yes, every church should have a dog or cat.
Oh, it's just, those pictures are just too much.
Oh, they're just adorable.
Yeah.
And they do have pictures of him quote, quote, preaching to the fish. Absolutely adorable.
Wow, very nice, very nice.
And cute.
All right.
Here we go.
What?
I know what you're trying to do.
We all know what I'm trying to do, and I don't know if this is going to make you cry or not. I have no
Let me
idea.
try. Okay. In an awe-inspiring sequence of events spanning over 6 years, a remarkable woman has emerged as the guardian angel for one family, rescuing a man from a life-threatening situation and later saving his daughter's life. Oh, wow, a twofer. 6 years ago, Christy Hadfield was a paramedic who saved John Cunningham's life when he was having a heart attack. When he went into cardiac arrest, I remember being in the back of the ambulance, and I was like, not today, John, not today. She performed chest compressions until he got to the hospital. Fortunately, they were able to get him back. Hadfield stayed in touch with Cunningham through social media, as she often does with former patients. She also became Facebook friends with his daughter Molly Jones after Jones sent her a friend request.
Desmond and Molly Jones. Ho, 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 ho. Anyway, continue.
Happy ever after? Okay. 6 years later, on July 7th of 2022, Jones shared on Facebook that she was officially on the kidney transplant list. She was ill with advancing kidney disease. Although she found it hard to ask for help, she went on social media to see if anyone would consider donating. And when I posted it, all of a sudden, I just got this message from Christy, Jones42 said. I messaged her, I sent her a message, and I said, hey, I've got your kidney here. Bless you. She said, listen, kid, I saved your dad, and I'm going to save you, too. I know people like this.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's name is Ellen. Hadfield was eventually cleared to donate, and the two women met for the first time a week before the procedure, and on December 27th, the transplant finally took place. Don't you have to have, like, really, like, the same blood type and all kinds of...
Yeah, that's
What
quite
are
a
the
coincidence.
odds?
I know.
The transplant went as planned and was successful. Wow, look at those smiles. It was amazing. I felt like I was alive again. The difference is just unbelievable. Christy gave me back my life, Jones said. I'm glad to have her in my heart, and I'm glad if somebody had my kidney, she's the one that has it, Hadfield said. I mean, wow.
Yeah, wow.
Wow. So hopefully she doesn't do anything to her remaining kidney, and the other one keeps hers alive as well. That is insane. She saved both of them. She saved both of them. That's incredible.
That's a hero.
Just, wow. Alrighty. We got a cute little rescue puppy dog. We've got a lady who's like is on a life-saving. She's a superhero. She needs a freaking cape and a crown.
Well, you wouldn't be able to fly around with a crown on your head, really. I
Says
mean,
who? Tell that to. Well, I guess
technically she flies with the help
Wonder Woman
of
doesn't
an
fly, but-
invisible plane, so I guess she flies.
Okay. We might end this puppy early for once. We usually end it late.
Yeah.
Are there any words of wisdom you, Mr. Monis, would like to give to our adoring fans?
Put God first. Seriously. It's something the Bible says, and it's just one of the hardest things to do is to put God above your spouse, your family, your job, yourself.
It's funny because putting God before your spouse, a lot of people bristle at that.
Yeah.
Society goes against that.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, if you do, then your spouse is honored in a way that you couldn't unless you did that.
Mm-hmm.
The same with your children and the rest of your family. And it's hard because it's humbling, and we don't like that.
No, we don't like being humble.
We don't like that at all. All right. Oh! We did not share our wine of the week.
Oh.
So I was at the HEB, because I love me some HEB, and they were sampling out this thing called Bellini Opera Prima. And you have to say it that way, because if you say Bellini Opera Prima, it's just not the same. It is a sparkling wine And I like it because it's light and refreshing and tastes a lot like grapefruit. Jim, I think, liked it, but he's afraid of grapefruit.
Well, one of my medications, it requires that I not drink grapefruit juice or eat grapefruit, and it tasted so much like grapefruit juice that I was like, I'm not taking the risk. I
like
drank
red
one.
grapefruit. But the ingredients do not include grapefruit.
It says flavors.
I hate it when they do that because I don't
Yeah.
know what flavors means. I mean,
I
that
mean-
could mean peppercorn and ranch dressing for all I know.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't think that you're getting enough grapefruit to affect your medication.
Well, you know,
That
this
being
is
said, I'm more than happy to finish the bottle on your behalf. You're welcome.
you will, and that's fine. That's what beer is for. Call it good.
All right, folks, it has been a wonderful evening. We shared some amazing stories. We had a fun sketch. We haven't done one in a while. And those of you who are relatively new to our channel, our main channel on YouTube got just obliterated, like trashed. They deleted most of our followers. They went back and gave us hard strikes for 2- and 3-year-old videos. So we basically just took it all down. This podcast, it does post there, but we get DMCA'd and strikes and stuff almost on a monthly DMCA almost on a monthly basis, and so I don't really give it the tender loving care that I would a YouTube channel typically, because it's just an uphill battle. We are on Rumble, we are on BitChute. We now have a locals channel where we post our videos and our spoofs and some extra things if you want to become a member. Very, very tiny amounts, and you'll get all kinds of extra stuff. We're going to be launching a comic, probably weekly comic. We have some other things that we're working on in the background. So, reasons to join and extra little tidbits, and who knows, maybe Max will get his own. He has lots of things to say, as you can hear. And I have been back. What do you call that? Uploading all the old animations I've introduced to the Max.
Mm-hmm.
She's so fritzy, and I'm going to be starting uploading all of the animated versions of Poetry Corner on Counterculture Cats, so its own separate unique YouTube channel, which I haven't officially launched, so there's no members or anything there because I haven't really announced it yet. And then of course there's the Holy Crap, This Is Actually Happening channel, which is where most of our followers are or were, because we first hit the algorithm, had several thousand people the first day, and then they shut that down hard. Mm-hmm. So haven't been able to gain even a single sub. It goes back and forth by one sub, and it's funny because our followers are starting to notice this. And they're posting like, "Hey, this is weird. You know, why you just get like one sub and then negative one sub and then one sub and then negative one sub back and forth, and the number just literally stays exactly the same." Some are saying they're not getting notifications, so I'm not relying on YouTube. I am literally posting on YouTube out of spite at this point until they shut us down.
They're
completely.
persona non grata as far as I'm concerned. At least with our shows.
So most of our following is on BitChute. Rumble's just getting started, and Rumble and Locals, play nice with each other. We also post them on Subscribestar. So if you are a member on Subscribestar or Locals, you get everything a day early from everybody else. And BitChute follows, and then YouTube, I'll throw them a bone now and then, but only because that's where some people are. So do follow us on all the other platforms. Spread the news. Let people know. A lot more things on the horizon. If you have any ideas, feel free to contact us. There's a contact form on our website, which will also be getting revamped, counterculturewise.com. So we're in the lots of things on the horizon. So do stay tuned. And again, if you have suggestions, we are happy to hear them. So, folks, it's been amazing. I'm going to finish off this opera prima for Jim so that there's no more evil grapefruit juice in the house and he won't be tempted. He's going to probably eat the rest of the brisket that we brought home from our
burp. And
my whole wheat
polish it off
macaroni.
with some Jell-O.
Yeah, my whole wheat macaroni salad, which I think turned out really good, but it scared all the rednecks away because it had green things in it. So
Yeah, vegetables, greens and red don't mix.
Well, no.
They of the
Red
scarlet
is an
neck.
onion,
didn't
so
it?
that's considered a vegetable. But yeah, it's funny. Because there was some really good coleslaw, but boy, howdy, were there a lot of desserts. Oh, my goodness. Anyways, folks, if you want to eat good, go to a cowboy church. That's all I'm saying. Thank you so much, Nick and Dave, our favorite fans in the world, for joining us.
We love you
And
guys.
for those of you who are not Nick and Dave, thank you so much for joining in. And, make sure you drop everything.
Ow.
Hit like, share, subscribe, give us a 1,000,000,000-star review. Head on over to counterculturewise.com. Tell us what you think. If you hated our guts, fill out the ID10T form. We will be happy to give it the attention it deserves. If you loved us, tell us, because we could really use the encouragement, guys. We love you. We'll see you next week. Have an amazing week. Whatever you do, be kind.
Be kind. Counterculture-Wise is a Stormcat production.
Thank you for joining our growing family of listeners. All links from the show are available on our website, counterculturewise.com. Find our archives on any of your favorite podcast hosts.
We engage in satire, commentary, and generally laugh at the ridiculousness of our crumbling society. Our only medical or financial advice is to not follow any financial or medical advice given by podcasters.
Our animations, interviews, Holy Crap segment, and other videos are put out on BitChute and Rumble, and only in part on YouTube because they hate free speech.
Our show is entirely funded by listeners like you. Visit our ever-expanding merch store or our Subscribe Star, where you can get outtakes, extra videos, and sneak peeks.
If you would like to be a guest on our program, feel free to contact us via our website. Just click on the link at the top that says, "Be a guest on our show."
For more fun and cat pics, please visit our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. For complaints about our show, please fill out the ID10T form on our website, and we will give it the attention it deserves.
Meanwhile, no matter how cruel the world may be around you, always remember the importance of kindness. Be kind to each other, be kind to animals, and be kind to yourself. See you next week.